Welcome to Story on the Way, the path where we travel together through the roads of time, discovering stories that shaped history and changed the world. In today's episode, we open one of the greatest chapters ever written, the story of a man whose courage made enemies tremble, and whose name was carved into history with unbreakable glory. Prepare yourselves, tighten your packs, because our journey today takes us to the life of the Sword of Allah, Khalid ibn al-Walid. Let the story begin.
Khalid ibn al-Walid was born in Mecca into one of the most powerful families of Quraysh, the clan of Banu Makhzum. His father, Al-Walid ibn al-Mughira, was one of the leaders of his people, and his mother, Lubaba al-Kubra, was the sister of al-Mu'mineen Maymuna. Khalid grew up in a household of strength and valor, for Banu Makhzum were known as the warriors and sword-bearers of Mecca. As a boy, he trained in horsemanship, sword fighting, and spear throwing. He was strong, tall, and sharp-minded, qualities that shaped him into a natural leader. As he grew older, Khalid became one of Mecca's bravest young men. He had a commanding presence, quick reflexes, and exceptional military intuition. Whenever Quraysh needed someone to lead or strategize, Khalid's name was among the first to rise. Fighting was his passion, horses were his companions, and the clash of spears was the music of his youth. When Islam appeared, Khalid stood on the opposite side. In the Battle of Uhud, his military brilliance shone when he noticed a gap left by the Muslim archers. He swiftly led his cavalry around the mountain, attacking from behind and turning the tide of the battle. Quraysh's victory that day was largely due to his tactical genius. Yet despite this, something in Khalid's heart began to change. He saw in Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam a firmness that was unlike anything he had witnessed, and in his companions a light that could not be mistaken.
Years passed. At the Treaty of Hudaybiyah, Khalid observed something that deeply affected him. Muhammad had come unarmed, seeking only to perform Umrah. He realized that the Prophet was not a man of bloodshed, but a man of truth. Doubt grew, and the truth pushed its way into his heart. After the conversion of Amr ibn al-As and Uthman ibn Talha, someone informed Khalid that the Prophet had asked about him, saying, "Where is Khalid? A man like him should not be ignorant of Islam." These words struck him deeply. He spent a long night thinking about his past, then said to himself, "The path is clear, and nothing remains but to walk upon it." The next morning, he mounted his camel and rode toward Medina. The journey was long, but his heart felt at peace, as if returning home. When he entered upon the Prophet, the messenger smiled and said, "Praise be to Allah who guided you." Khalid asked the Prophet to pray that God forgive everything he had done before Islam. The Prophet said, "Islam erases all that came before it." A new light entered Khalid's heart, and from that moment, he became a new man.
Khalid began his new life with unmatched sincerity. In the Battle of Mu'tah, the three commanders were martyred, and Khalid took the banner.
he fought with a ferocity never seen before. It is said that 9 swords broke in his hands that day. By nightfall, he was able, through brilliant maneuverings, to save the Muslim army from destruction. When the Muslims returned, the Prophet ﷺ said, "Khalid took the banner, and he is a sword from the swords of Allah." From that day, he became known as the drawn sword of God. After the Prophet's death, a great turmoil struck Arabia. Tribes apostatized, others refused zakat, and the Arabian Peninsula fell into chaos. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq stood firm and declared, "By Allah, I will fight whoever separates prayer from zakat." The first man he relied upon was Khalid ibn al-Walid. Khalid fought battle after battle, Yamama, Buzakha, and others, crushing the rebellions and restoring peace to the entire region. Then Khalid was sent to Iraq, where he achieved remarkable victories. Later, Abu Bakr ordered him to march to Syria to face the Byzantine Empire. Among the greatest battles there was the Battle of Yarmouk, a battle remembered among the greatest in world history. The Byzantine army was massive, far outnumbering the Muslims. Yet Khalid stood like a lion, commanding the right flank, the left flank, and the center. For 6 days he fought tirelessly, reorganizing the ranks, leading attacks himself, and rallying the soldiers. By the 6th day, the Byzantine lines broke, and the Muslims achieved a historic victory. From then on, Khalid's name echoed across the world. Despite his victories, Umar ibn al-Khattab later relieved Khalid of command, not due to any flaw, but because Umar wanted people to know that victory came from God, not from Khalid. When Khalid heard of his dismissal, he accepted it with a calm heart, saying, "I fight for Allah, not for Umar." He continued fighting as a soldier, just as bravely as when he was commander. In his final days, Khalid would look at his body covered with scars from battles. Every scar told a story. He then uttered the famous words that made history weep. "I have fought in 100 battles, and on my body there is not a span without the mark of a sword or a spear. Yet here I am, dying on my bed as a camel dies. So let not the eyes of cowards ever sleep." Khalid ibn al-Walid died in Homs in the year 21 AH. He died without a sword in his hand, but history carried his name as one of the greatest generals the world has ever known. His final act was to ask that his armor and weapons, his lifelong companions, be buried with him. The sword of Allah departed this world, but his legacy continues to shine through the ages.